book. I bet I go out and get it right when I get home and go pull that out and look at that. That's funny because neither one of you told me that.
Rich wrote one of the forewords. Most people skip past that stuff, Rich wrote one of the forewords, and Dr. Gordon Spear, the astronomer, wrote one of the forewords. And both of them had one thing to say. This was a huge undertaking. Rich Hoffman made a comment on his. He says, if I had to mount this as a contractor, and he's a contractor for the Army, he said, I would have needed a staff of 12 people to put this thing together. And these two people did it by themselves, And at
a relatively short time.
Well, 18 months is not a short time. A lot of the stuff that took us 6 and 7 months to do, I can do in a month now, because we know what we're doing.
Well, you have a process in place now.
Yes, we do.
Starting from scratch was different.
We actually have written process in place. Literally, when we download updates and everything, we download them up separately, and the process says, do this first, do this second, do this third. And it gets progressively more complicated as you do it. Some of it is just as simple as make sure scan for all the cities that have a blank in front of the name of the city. Some people hit an extra tab or, little things like that can really mess you up when you're trying to scan for something.
Right.
And then we had there was a ton of other stuff that we found that we had to filter out. And or not filter as much as clean up. And it took us for 121,000 records, which was the original number we had for the 2001 to 2015 publication. It took us months and months and months to clean the data up. Like I said, I got data here for a 3-year dump of data to bring us up to 2018, and I had National UFO Reporting Center cleaned up in under a week, and I had MUFON cleaned up in basically maybe about 10 days, And
that's astounding alone.
Yeah, and we're quite proud of the written process. Of course, Linda and I were both contractors for the government. She was worked for a company that contracted out research librarians to government libraries, and of course, I was with Lockheed Martin for 32 years. So
right.
We knew something about how to write process and make the job easier. Because the mantra as a contractor is do as little work as possible.
I know contractors,
that doesn't mean slack off.
No, it means do it smart.
Exactly. So that was the flavor of it. Now, what's happened since is after that New York Times article, we had, it was strange. The next morning, I get a phone call from, now understand, I am retired at this point. 3 months I had been retired when the book came out. Okay. And what happens? Next morning, I get first phone call I get first thing in the morning is from the Times of London. And I had 10 phone calls like that day. Okay. And then I was averaging 3 to 5 phone calls for 3 weeks. Okay. And anybody wanted to interview? Heck, I didn't even know how to run Skype. An international network.
A lot of people have no idea how to run Skype, including people that use it daily. So.
Well, in this case, I had it loaded on my machine, but I hadn't actually figured out how to use it and hadn't talked to anybody. And the engineer from a international television network got on the phone with me and talked me through the setup features that I had to do to make it work, so I could sit there and do a video interview with this television field office in New York City for
amazing.
An international European network.
That's cool.
It's crazy.
And it was nice that they did that too.
Well, they wanted.
But they wanted the interview, yeah.
Yeah, and thereafter, what I did was I had an extra line downstairs. I had everything plugged in. I didn't like Wi-Fi. I wasn't getting the performance I liked. So I had a router and a cellular coming off the cable modem, and I just ran I ran ether upstairs. And what I did was I set up a spare ether cable in our library. So when someone wanted to interview me, I had a stage light in there I could throw on that would light my area. And I had this big wall of books behind me. And I looked very scholarly with this big
Scholarly
wall
and
of books,
intelligent, and not that you had to put forth the effort to do that, right? But it's still,
that too.
they like the books, right?
But,
They like that.
Appearances are everything, so.
That's pretty cool, though. I
It was fun.
love that.
I think one of the biggest things that bothered me was I had my share of people, and I can only call them the trolls, that would go like on the Facebook page, oh, there's nothing new here. And of course, give you a 1 star, and that hurts that little rating thing. Fortunately, all the people who really did buy the book were giving it 5 stars saying this is brilliant,
Well, yeah, because you're getting your verified purchase reviews, and those are the ones that matter.
That's the ones that mattered. But I also got so much traffic on Facebook telling me, oh, there's nothing new there. You just printed a whole bunch of sightings. I said, you don't even have the book.
How can somebody just crush something like that they're not even knowledgeable enough about to have an opinion?
People are mean.
They are mean, but it just drives me crazy.
The other thing we ran up against, that's when we also started getting mail that it was derogatory towards us as women researchers. We had our share of that.
Oh my gosh!
And I've had my share of it just in the last 3 years. I've had a lot of that. In fact, I've been cornered at, you go into a drinking fountain alcove at a hotel, at a conference, something like that, and literally have somebody come in there and just like push me up against the corner, and,
oh my gosh!
I had a couple of very bad incidents like that, and the one thing I had to, of course, tell them is the guy is probably got 75 pounds on me and is taller than me. Finally, I would have to say, do remember I am a Vietnam veteran, a combat veteran, and you do not want to get me upset.
I can't believe people do that. I mean, I know I'm naive, but I just can't imagine someone trying to intimidate you just because of your work. That's just because you're female in your work.
Okay, now let's go there a minute. Okay, I'm a post-op transsexual person. I went through this process 30 years ago. It's old freaking news.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, It wouldn't matter if it wasn't, but okay.
Most of my career over half of my career was as Cheryl, at Lockheed, So, and I don't hide what my past is. I know a lot of people who try to bury their past. I don't believe in that. I mean, it was all
well, you are who you are, right?
You are,
I mean, you live the life you live.
So what happened in this one particular case, we were at one of the IUFOCs, International UFO Congress, and we couldn't take too many of our books with us because they're very heavy, and we are old ladies. I'm sorry, So these books weigh 2.5 pounds apiece. You start taking 10 books with you in your suitcase, and it starts getting unwieldy. So we took 2 as samples, and we had these cards printed up, kind of like a business card, and it had just the information of how to order it from Amazon. Okay, and people said, "But I want to get it signed." I said, if you go in the book, there's an email address in the FAQ. If you drop us a line, I know if you have that email address, you've got the book. We know you've got the book. So you drop us a line, give us your mailing address, and we will even pay for the postage. We will send you a plate that's got our picture, and we both autograph it, and we send it to you in an envelope, and you peel off the back, and you stick it in on the Versa page, which is the big title page, and you've got a signed book.
And it looks cool. I love those plates.
It looks really cool. So this one guy came to us at the conference, and at one point he's looking through the book and everything, and he closed the book up. He starts pounding on the front cover of the thing. Did you get a man to check this?
Did you what?
Did you get a man to check this?
Get out of town.
So I just looked at him and I said, don't worry, I've got one home in a jar.
Good answer.
It is a good answer.
Great answer.
So the bottom line that he didn't know what that meant, but everybody who knew me behind me at the vendors area was just
They were
dying.
dying, right?
Yeah. So, um,
Oh my goodness. I shouldn't
so
laugh that hard at that, but it's really great.
but I wanted to make sure I made the point that Linda was the brains behind the book. Okay, she really gave it good definition. Said no aliens on the cover. We're going to make it look like a UFO census. We're going to digest the statistics. We're going to make some sense of some of this. Big, that was the big thrust of this. And I also got mail from people both on social media, and we got a few letters that said, "Oh, this thing's just a whole bunch of numbers. What good is that?" That says an awful lot about our education system,
Yes, it
because if
does.
you look in the numbers, the truth is in the numbers.
The truth
And
about almost everything is in the numbers. It's all
yeah,
about that.
it really is. And right now, in the original book, I couldn't do much. We couldn't do much more than show you the high level, numbers of, how many there were in a state and what years and what months and that kind of stuff. Right now, I can tell you what time of day people see these things. Right now, I've got a printout right now that I just did for I'm going to demonstrate at the Arkansas Ozarks Mountain
Ozark Mountain
Conference.
UFO
I,
Conference.
I'm speaking at that in 2 months,
I know. I'm
and
trying to be there. I am recovering from an injury, but I'm hoping I'm going to be released to travel
if you
far.
come, let's sit down and have coffee,
We will.
or have lunch or something.
We will, but we have to take another break.
Do what you got to do.
Alrighty. Well, just so everyone knows, we are so fortunate, and we will be right back in 2 minutes. This one's not so tough. Y'all just hang with us.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 45 minutes after the hour. And just like that, I told you it was 2 minutes. We are back with Cheryl Costa, and we are having the best time. So some of the things she's saying are just shocking me, not because of her work, but because of people. Human beings interacting with other human beings. So you actually need to think about that when you're talking to an author or someone who does any type of research and presents it, because they've got work involved here, not to mention personalities and stuff. So be nice, people. And we're back. Cheryl, thank you so much for being here. I am having the best time.
Along the line what you were just saying, I did a talk down in Philadelphia a year ago, back a year ago fall, okay, and it showed up on YouTube rather recently, and somebody sent me a link to it, and you know how they have a commentary track sometimes for